Welcome back to Tame Mayhem Live. I'm George.
I'm Mauro.
Today you're going to see me start the communist revolution.
And you're going to see me help by burning all major banks.
I appreciate that, man.
Of course,
Thank
dude.
you. Thank you for furthering the goal.
Exactly. We're all in this together. Together we can defeat capitalism.
And communists arise. This week we asked you guys a couple more questions. We asked you if you had any travel necessities or if you had any travel horror stories. And my shit got rocked just by reading your guys' stories.
There's some really good ones here today.
I'm pretty sure I had almost 2 anxiety attacks just by reading this shit. It was pretty fascinating.
Absolutely. I can't explain to you how much anxiety I got just reading some of these. Just
my palms are sweaty just holding the paper.
Shout out to you, Luke. What's up, Luke?
Oh man. But so we're gonna start out with just a general question by one of our listeners at Madeline Markham at Instagram. Is 50 states too many? Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think you'll be hard pressed to find many people who can name all 50 states in under a minute. True. Honestly, there's way too many of them. I can get 40, right? I don't know if I can get all 50. And then if you add in the Commonwealth and the territories, dude, I'm gone. I have no way.
No, yeah, all the East Coast, all that shit just looks the same. I only know New York, Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey. That's it.
What about you got the Carolinas too? See,
all right. Here's my solution for that. They should just combine the Carolinas, combine the Dakotas, and get rid of Utah because nobody fucking goes there. And same with Wyoming. Wyoming's fake.
I think they should actually reduce it to 25 names. So let's say you have, Carolina, Oklahoma, Dakota, and then split those into North and South. That way you only have 25 names to remember, but there's a North and South for each one.
We should just do what Canada does and do provinces instead.
Yeah, the things big ass pieces of land.
Yeah, things would go by so much faster. And then name the states whether the states right now, just name those territories or
right.
cities,
No, 50 states is way too many. I barely have 50 of anything.
I barely have 50 brain cells.
Yeah.
Well, that's way too much. Plus, once you factor in the Washington D.C. and Puerto Rico, U.S. territories, but aren't states, just make those into states.
It's a fucking confusing mess. Alrighty, and I wish there was some way to simplify it without offending some people.
What's more American than just being overly confusing, though?
Yeah. All right, you got a point there.
Yeah. But yeah, 50 states, way too much. This can be way more efficient. Just cut it down. It's dog shit. Get rid of it. It's useless. Just like half the fucking states that we have. Useless.
All right, so let's get into it, guys. So let's start with a travel necessity by memories.2522 on Instagram. Now, this was one I wasn't expecting to see, but a travel necessity is toilet paper.
Specifically toilet paper when you travel to Mexico.
Right? See, I've barely been abroad, right? So this is actually the last thing I would have guessed would have been in super high demand and super expensive.
Absolutely.
It's just I feel like you can wipe your ass with anything. You know what I mean?
No,
so
yeah.
I don't see why toilet paper, which seems relatively cheap to make, would be super expensive. But it turns out it's pretty predatory.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive in Mexico. Not only that, but apparently gas stations will charge you. First of all, they will charge you to use the bathroom.
Smart.
Well, customers only. They have that in the States. It's not too weird. But they would also upcharge you if you need to use the toilet rather than a urinal.
Oh, man.
So, if you need toilet paper, guess what? You're going to have to pay a premium on that.
So what, are all women fucked? They don't have urinals? That sucks.
I fucking guess, dude. But
dude, I would one-up them by taking a shit in the urinal. Yeah?
But what would you wipe with?
See who charges me.
But what would you wipe with?
I don't know. Do they have, paper towels or something?
Probably not. That's the thing. They probably only use the air dryers, or you just, shake your hands.
Then I'd air dry my butt. Alrighty? I'll say it.
Ew. That's so good. Wash your ass in the sink, dude.
Ew. It's their fault. It's their fault for not giving me toilet paper because they'll only give you how much they think you need.
I know. They don't, and that got me thinking, do they specifically tailor it to you? What if you say, dude, I accidentally drank the water here in Mexico. I need more than just like fucking 4 squares or however much they give you, you know?
Right? Like, I ate Alfredo pasta and I'm lactose intolerant. Can you help me out?
Can we help each other out? I don't want to shit all over your walls, dude.
And the only way, because you have to, yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you don't give them enough toilet paper, who are you really, like, hurting here?
Yourself in the long run.
What's that person supposed to do? Just camp out in your bathroom all day? Like, dude, just give them toilet paper. Stop being dicks about it. And let's just live like humans.
Exactly. This irrational fear of mine, this is the exact reason why I have a car, my driver's side door is just full of fucking napkins, and I have a roll of toilet paper in there. I stay strapped. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just have that irrational fear that one day I'm going to pull up to a gas station, they're going to be like, hey, that'll be 25 cents. Like, oh, don't worry.
Oh, you just bring in your own roll.
I just bring in my own roll.
You sell your roll and your napkins to the gas station, and you get paid for taking a shit.
Yeah, I undercut the market.
In fact, you start parking right outside of that gas station and selling your toilet paper for way cheaper.
That's exactly what I'm gonna fucking do. I'm just gonna steal toilet paper from the gas station and sell it back to them, you know?
It's a good model. I mean, you know, markets become saturated. It's just life.
That's just a big fuck you for charging people in the first place.
Yeah, honestly.
You fuck the fucky, or you fuck the fucker, I guess. Shit.
Fuck the fucker. That's my new life mantra. Fuck the fucker.
Fuck the fucker. And then after this, we started going. We also asked the question, do you have any like travel nightmares or nightmare horror stories and stuff like that?
Right.
One that we got from @BrookeLar, she said she usually gets stopped by TSA agents that think she's always carrying drugs for some reason.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a pretty common one, you know? But I'm just dying to know what the TSA thinks a drug peddler looks like.
Yeah,
right? Because you get some plain Janes and your Joe Schmoes going through the airport, and then the next thing you know, like, they're getting searched up and down, like, in their armpits, and then they're getting arrested just because they think he has something.
I know, that, like, the whole mantra, like, innocent until proven guilty, that doesn't apply in airports.
No, not at all. Everyone there is guilty of something, dude. Whether it's your too big shampoo bottle or freaking firearms or drugs. You're guilty of something. Exactly. I don't know what it is.
I like how in airports, carrying a bottle of water and having a gun is both punishable by death to them.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, they don't know if your water's vodka or whatever, right? As if liquor was way more dangerous than a firearm.
I know, or like fucking bomb juice. Because I remember the whole reason why they started banning water bottles was because some guy tried to make like a fucking bomb out of whatever the hell and hit it in a bottle of water, which is fucking dumb. First of all, it's plastic; it's just gonna burn. So that's one of the main reasons. And plus, I mean, nobody's searching white people, so that caught me off guard. Like if you and me try to go through the customs, first of all, they would think you're Middle Eastern.
Right.
And then they would say, well, like, look at fucking Ahmed and Baljeet over there trying to pass customs.
See,
like,
if I went through the airport with nothing except the clothes on my back, I guarantee you I would still be searched up and down and be questioned about what I'm doing.
In fact, they would search you more just for the sole reason that you don't have any luggage.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like, what the fuck is this guy planning?
Yeah, I guess you have a point there, but it's like, let me live my fucking life, right? Can I not just like ride an airplane for fun? Is that against the law? I didn't realize this was the case.
Oh my God.
That being said, I've never been on a plane, and I'm afraid of heights, so that's not a worry for me.
Oh, well, I've been on a plane. Luckily, I was young enough to not arouse as much suspicion.
To not get searched by the TSA.
Yeah. But it was still very stressful for me.
Right.
Just because, like, I had to go through so many fucking, like, metal detectors and stuff. And then, like, I had to do the pat down. And funny enough, Nathan Daniel just sent us a fun fact. Agents won't touch your underwear in your carry-on or backpack.
But who will? Because someone's got to do that.
So, good fun fact. I mean... Shit, that might come in handy in later days.
I guess that's why people are able to smuggle things, I guess.
Yeah, if you just hide it in your underwear and your carry-on.
I feel like they'd still be able to get you. I don't know how, but I feel like there's just some wizard like behind the walls in the airport that like casts a spell on everyone and makes them all transparent. He says, cocaine appearance, and all of a sudden he sees all the little dime bags in people's assholes. Man. So moving on, we got a Spartan D34 on Twitter telling us one of his horror stories. This one really is horrifying.
Yeah, this was
horrifying. So while on a scouting trip in the Gulf of Mexico, his sailing team and him got caught in a tropical depression. And for those of you who don't know what a tropical depression is, it's like the Great Depression, but just in Panama.
It's actually whenever I go to the beach.
Right, that one too.
But for real though, essentially what a tropical depression is kind of like a step below a hurricane. Like you have these tropical cyclones that eventually develop into hurricanes.
You got baby hurricane, basically.
He got baby hurricane, which is absolutely fucking terrifying. Because even though it says baby hurricane, it's still a fucking hurricane.
I can barely stand, like, the gusts of wind, that happened.
Right?
I couldn't imagine adding water to that and making it more powerful.
And being in the middle of the fucking ocean, too.
Right? Just getting slapped around. I mean, props to him for making it out. That's for sure. But, Jesus.
I know. That right there is so fucking terrifying to me. Mostly because you're at the mercy of the ocean and the wind.
Right? Because it's nothing he did wrong.
No, absolutely.
What I mean? All it is just fate.
Yeah, he literally just got placed in the middle of the worst situation you could possibly think of while in the middle of the ocean. Like, I'm surprised he didn't get fucking castawayed,
Yeah, honestly, yeah, they should have started their own Lord of the Flies thing.
Yeah, they were like, well, boys, let's see who's going to be the leader here.
Right.
Who's got the conch?
It would have been Spartan D right there. He would have done this.
Yeah, with a name as powerful as Spartan D.
Yeah, he's got this.
Hell yeah, he does. Big sissies. Big sissies? No, not big sissies. It's a hurricane. Yeah. I will gladly take my L, dude.
Come on. All right, so another response we got on Twitter was from Eric_2. So
this one's a doozy.
This one's good. So let's rewind it back to 2017 for a second, right? Planned vacation to Corpus Christi. That seems like a dream. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's just a relaxing little getaway from Oklahoma. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's still worth it. I mean,
except if you have major knee surgery 2 days before, like our friend Eric here.
And turns out he only agreed to go because he was doped up after the medication.
Right.
This is the only reason why he agreed to go.
Which, makes you wonder, like, was he asked when he was on drugs on purpose so he would say yes,
I mean, yeah, whoever.
Either way, I don't see how you could enjoy that trip if you're just doped up all the time. You would have an equally as good of a time at home being doped.
The thing is, like, whenever he was, because unfortunately for the car ride there, they had to drive 8 hours to get to Corpus Christi.
Right.
He was doped up the entire time, so he couldn't drive. So I just imagine him like being in his shoes, just like how fucking amazing that drive would have been.
Oh, I bet.
Just how fast it would have been.
Being able to take like 4 naps too.
Exactly. Like you blink, you're like, oh, 4 hours later, you blink again, like, oh, we're still in Austin. Blink again. Like, and that's another thing that happened. His poor wife, his now wife, whenever they were driving to Corpus Christi, they got stuck in Austin. Because they just so happened to travel during the weekend of South by Southwest.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, that's a massive convention whenever the streets are literally backed up. And so are the highways. It's horrifying. So I was like, he said it took them 8 hours to get there. And I was like, 3 of those hours were probably just sitting in traffic in Austin.
Yeah,
like,
man. That's
in the hot desert sun.
Which, I mean, like, I guess... I don't know. That's just a shitty situation. I'm not
for his
lie.
wife, not for him. He was doped up. Who cares?
Right. But eventually they made it there. Happily ever after, or so you think. It turns out when they got there, Eric forgot to plan a hotel
because
he was drugged up.
Because he had fucking knee surgery.
Right. So by the time they get there, it's like around 10, 11 p.m. And, they go to the hotel, find out that they have nothing there, and have to make this last minute, pretty much week-long reservation. And not only that, but Eric throws his walker at the seagulls. It's a catastrophic night, let's be honest.
It's a catastrophic night for his wife.
Having to babysit and also pretty much just be the trip organizer.
Plan your own trip, like...
Man, yeah, this is pretty much a solo vacation while babysitting.
I know. Luckily, it does have kind of a happy ending, though, because she did manage to get a hotel, and it was on the beach. Right. So, I mean, good for her.
But I wonder how long that took her.
No, absolutely. Just imagine just not being able to do anything for maybe a minimum. Like, although they got it booked at 11, they probably didn't have the room ready until, like, maybe midnight.
Right.
And after an 8-hour drive, just sitting in the fucking sun, not being able to...
And imagine having to just, like, sit there with your doped up, tired, like, companion, just making sure that they don't cause a ruckus and that they don't wander in, like, to someone's room and accidentally commit a crime.
And don't actually, like... Because he almost committed, like... he almost committed animal abuse, right? Because if he had hit that seagull, it would have been over for that
if
seagull.
any cop had seen him do that, they would have immediately thought he was off the bars. Like, there was no going back for this.
Absolutely. And what else could he have said? Because they were like, all right, pee into this cup, and they got him.
Off the rocker, man.
He's off the rocker. That is terrifying. I am so sorry to that poor woman. Man. But apparently it worked out because they got married. So
yeah, and you have a vacation too. So
yeah, they had a great time.
Happily ever after, right? It does exist.
In certain scenarios.
Only if you're drugged up and you throw your walker at seagulls can you get a happily ever after.
Keep doing
Lesson learned.
So, key points, do drugs, don't be the babysitter.
And commit animal abuse.
Attempt to commit animal abuse.
The 3 rules of life. It's the trifecta. All right, so we got another story from Nathan Daniel here, and gosh, this one is a little embarrassing. I'd say it would make me feel like shit. Not embarrassing, but it would make me feel like shit. So Nathan was going to Morocco, not only to get the experience, but because the exchange rate is freaking awesome there.
Yeah,
it's $1 for 10 units of their local currency. So why wouldn't you go?
Exactly. Live like a king for a day.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So he's at the airport, and he's going to check into his flight and whatnot. And so he gets to customs, and they see his passport. You know, they see him, and I'm supposing his pretty blank travel history. And immediately they start laughing at him. Just start laughing at him. No reason why. They don't even crack a joke to him. You know, they just look at him and his passport and his destination, and it must be the funniest shit in the world to them.
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, Morocco is a predominantly Muslim country.
Yeah,
and
North Africa.
North Africa, and this is around the time that Trump tried to do the whole travel ban on Muslim countries.
Right.
And so they were laughing their ass off. They call over Border Patrol.
Yeah.
They call over, the custom agents call over Border Patrol and start laughing at him.
How funny does a joke have to be where you have to like buzz in your other coworkers like, yo, you will never believe this shit. You have to come over here right now.
Right now. This is absolutely fucking insane. And just start laughing at it.
And Border Patrol laughs at him too.
They're all laughing at this. It's probably like, I don't know how many people it was, but it's probably like a group of at minimum 5 people just
Nathan's the only one not laughing here. If anything, he doesn't get the joke.
No, he's like, what's so fucking funny? I would feel like shit.
Me too. And the greatest thing is that English is their third language, you know, in Morocco. So it's hard to understand, you know, some of the... it's just hard to get past some of the language barriers there. So that's why he was not very clued into everything that was happening. So, I don't know, man. They could have been laughing about something else.
It could have been.
Right? But imagine that. Imagine just not being in on the joke. Imagine if you are the joke, or if they hate you so much, you're just excluded from it.
I know. That so sucks, because imagine, that's like... It's like, so they're laughing at you solely because, like, you're from... somewhere that has a shitty leader at the moment.
Right.
That's the only thing you did wrong. Like, you were just born in the wrong place.
Right.
Like, that's literally the only thing that happened.
They thought Nathan was there to take over. Actually, I've come to conclude.
Yeah. Another good one that Nathan sent us was he was in Barcelona studying abroad. And
which one?
He started a few apparently. But he was in Barcelona in a hotel. And you know that thing whenever you like try to jump up from like, kind of like kick yourself up, like the Shawn Michaels type thing.
So like you're standing up and you jump, and then like you kind of just like go back?
No, the way it might have been like that. I didn't get too much detail, but the way I imagined it, he was laying on his back. You know that like kick up where you land on your feet. I'm guessing he was trying to do that, and just completely snap the fucking bed in half.
Good one. If you would have given me 50 guesses to see how he broke this bed, I would have never guessed, because he was just trying to jump up.
That was as soon as I read that, I was like, that is incredible.
Yeah. Honestly, like, what kind of force do you have to be putting on your bed and your body to break like a few freaking slats of wood?
Like, do you know how strong you are, Nathan, to do that?
Dude, his back is ripped. It has to be.
Because he didn't just break like one or two. He broke basically all of them, and the bed was like that.
Like almost clean in half, too.
Like his fucking bed looked like a Twix bar. It was just like that. It was insane.
Yo, Nathan, that should be your resume for if you want to get into like boxing or wrestling. Like all you need to do is that. You broke a bed without even trying.
You broke a whole ass bed on accident.
And the best part is that the hostel didn't even know.
Yeah,
right?
He just set it up just well enough to where the next person was probably going to get fucked and probably going to have to pay that deposit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because Nathan got his deposit back too. This dude played the hostel. He was like off scot-free.
Nathan, you probably have a warrant out for your arrest in Barcelona, dude. Whenever I eventually go, like they're going to know, like, I see you know Nathan Daniel.
Right.
I was like, we're going to need his
security. They're going to hold you hostage.
Yeah, they're going to fucking hold me ransom. You're going to have to pay that deposit again. But that was incredible. Another really good one that we got in was on Twitter, @Stevie Saxon. So they were about to study abroad to Italy, and they made the mistake of not checking when their passport was going to expire.
Rookie mistake, I gotta say.
Big mistake, especially this, like, as important as that.
Right.
So apparently they it was going to expire way too soon. They paid for a $50 Uber fee just to get to Dallas, downtown Dallas.
That's a lot for an Uber.
Yeah, they arrived in Dallas. They ordered the Uber at 5 a.m. and they got to Dallas how long?
5 a.m. When did the flight? When was the flight?
The flight was at 10. So
that's way too tight.
Oh, it gets way tighter, dude. Wait till you know. So they get to Dallas. Guess what happens?
Let's see. It's like a federal holiday, and they're not open.
Close. Close. The day they don't open until 8 a.m.
No.
So they were just sitting in a sketchy McDonald's, just like basically, I would assume if I was in that situation, I would be shitting myself, like, oh my god,
right.
like just like, oh my god. But thank God there was a saint that day. They got visited by an angel, like this lady that had her kids, and they were visiting the office. They had an appointment at 8 p.m. at 8 a.m. So she saw the predicament this poor person was in,
right? And
she gave them her appointment.
Damn.
That is super
how lucky
fucking
do
nice.
You have to be?
Do you know how the amount of luck you have to for that to go your way?
In that case, that's as good as winning the lottery. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Honestly, as soon as that happened to me, I would go and buy a ticket immediately.
She made her flight, right?
Oh yeah. They made their flight. They arrived at I think like just barely, like at 9:45 or something. I don't know.
No.
I didn't get too much detail, but they made their flight. That's what's important.
Every opening to like every 90s and 2000s movie, whenever they're going to like a vacation or something, they like barely check in time and they barely get all their credentials in order.
Yeah, it reminded me of the scene of like Home Alone, whenever like everybody's so busy just rushing and like
exactly
they forget Kevin at home. But no.
Imagine if they went through all that work to like accidentally forget their passport at the office.
Oh my god, that would have been a fucking nightmare. I would have cried. Yeah. Like if I was in that situation, I would have given up immediately. Just like,
oh yeah, I'm surprised that they were able to pull that through.
The amount of determination.
I feel like I would have had the shittiest luck in that I would have been fucked from the Uber. I feel like the Uber wouldn't have even made it on time.
Absolutely, I would have. If I was in that situation, I feel like I would have gotten just like the worst fucking Uber, just like Right. Just like just hitting every single red light on the way to Dallas.
The Uber texts you and they're just like, gonna be an hour late. My bad.
Kidding. So I was like, right now I'm actually doing no Grubhub order right now. Yeah. I'll let you know when I'm free. Knowing me, that's exactly how that would have happened.
No, that's a straight up miracle.
It's really
a straight up miracle. Not only were you able to make the flight on time, but someone gave up their appointment for you.
I know, because
how do you get a double whammy of luck?
Because that was another thing. The only other appointment available that day was at 4 p.m.
No.
So the fact that lady was like, I see the predicament, I'll take the hit. Jeez. Just go for it.
In that moment, they were that lady's third child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a literal angel that came into your life at the perfect fucking time. That was incredible.
That's too good.
It really is. That's the kind of stories people need at the moment, you know.
Right.
Story of humanity. Just like,
man, which this next story definitely highlights some parts of humanity. This was an anonymous submission, and probably for some good reasons. There's a lot that goes on in this one. So, let's set the stage in Geneva, right? There's a study abroad group, and in this group, there's a guy and a girl, and the group is attempting to set them up. You know what I mean? Just this whole classic, situation.
Will they, won't they type beat.
Right. Yeah. And so they the whole group goes out for the night except for these two people that they were trying to set up. We'll call them Andrew and Susie. So Andrew and Susie didn't go out with the group because they actually fell asleep in the same bed. Mm-hmm. So turns out shit's working, right? Man. So then an interlude for a second. So our person explains to us that only like 2 people in the group had phone plans that actually worked in the European Union. So they were able to use their phones a little bit, but they weren't able to use it to get directions or a bunch of major stuff. Otherwise, they would have ran out too fast. But Andrew had 65 gigabytes worth of data.
Yeah.
So what they did is before the group went out and while Andrew and Susie were asleep, our anonymous person steals the phone from Andrew while they're asleep in order to hotspot his phone so that way the group can use his data while they go clubbing at night.
And they don't
Andrew
get lost.
And Susie are back in the hotel or wherever they are asleep. And Andrew never knows the better.
I know. That's the worst part. Like because according to this fucking anonymous user, they used basically all of his data in that one night. I was just like, how the fuck?
Well, when you have like 2 or 3 people on it, that's super easy. That's way too easy.
Yeah, because he would just hotspot everybody.
Yeah.
But no.
Which, shout out to Andrew. He was a team player and he didn't even know it.
Yeah. And maybe he did know it and he was just like, you know what? You guys did help me.
Right.
I'm just returning the favor,
Yeah, he's repaying everyone by giving them his data. He's like, I can't even be mad.
Exactly. And you know why he can't be mad? Do you want to tell the rest of the story?
Alrighty. So after our night out, our study group comes back and they find Andrew and Susie asleep in the same bed. But it's not their bed. It's our anonymous person's bed. So he's like, oh, well, what the heck? You guys got to go to your room because I got to sleep and, we got to start the whole day tomorrow. So they oblige. They go back to their room. They actually shared a bed, like, to begin with, So, I mean, it was kind of like...
It was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, it was going to happen. So they go back to their room, and not even 10 minutes later does the study group hear a bunch of noises through the wall and a crash.
And I quote, the crash was so loud that it echoed throughout the entire hotel room. Not only the crash, but everything that preceded the crash,
right.
The slamming, that did too.
We'll just let you guys put 2 and 2 together. But they broke the bed. They straight up broke this bed. And they broke the middle part of it to the point where this bed is caving in.
It was literally folded like a sandwich.
Yes.
It was insane.
And so at that point, they're just like, fuck it, right? They don't even bother with it the rest of the night. They're just like, what's happened has happened, and we're going to deal with it later. So the next morning, they spend 2 whole ass hours trying to fix this bed, but they can't because you broke a damn bed. You
like
need more materials.
Yeah.
However, they were able to get lucky because they were able to just barely have the bed stay afloat and flat to the point where if anyone just looked at it, it would look normal.
Yeah, they didn't fix it. They just made it look normal.
By no means was it fixed. The next person who even put their hand on that was probably going to get in quicksand.
Yeah, it was going to be just like a Venus flytrap type beat, just like that.
You know, props to their ingenuity, but they did argue almost the whole time during that.
Yeah. Just imagine just fighting with your lover.
It's Susie walks out and she says, "I need a cigarette."
I need a cigarette.
That's the most like movie thing that could happen. I need a cigarette.
I need a cigarette. Right? Like I just broke the bed. I need a cigarette. Oh my god.
Which is like it was equally you guys' faults. Come
exactly.
on, pull your weight.
Come on, exactly.
At least share the cigarette.
Or share the deposit that you're gonna have to pay on that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Take the hit.
Which hopefully they got out of it, you know? Hopefully the people inspecting the room.
Apparently they did, but definitely the next person that ended up in that room was
they were gonna get framed. They were gonna get straight up framed.
Yeah, oh my god.
I don't envy the next person, I'll say that.
I don't either.
No, man, that's too good. That's almost like ripping that out of a script. It's perfect.
It's literally it's literally straight from like a sitcom.
Yeah.
I would see that happening in like I don't know, Friends.
This all pretty much happened in the span of like 12 hours.
No, yeah.
Like, this was like the same night.
It was a really crazy night in Geneva. Like
which makes it think like that has to be the tamest of it. I wonder how crazy Geneva actually gets.
I know, that was probably like their first night there. Yeah. Like I want to know what actually happened in the rest of the week. Jesus Christ. This is why if you're gonna study abroad, like he really studied abroad that night. Like
he really, man.
So the next one that we had was a submission from Twitter. It was from @RennieSucks, and here's the background of it. So her and a couple of friends went out to go visit one of their friends that's in Missouri for college.
Right.
You know, they have a great time. You know, it's a nice trip.
Yeah.
Everything's going according to plan.
It's Missouri.
Exactly.
Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, what the fuck are you going to do, you know? So, but the problem arises not to the trip there, but the trip back.
Oh, right.
Here's exactly what happened. So they're driving down the highway. Not only were they speeding, but they were smoking the devil's lettuce.
Oh, no, they were face cabbaging?
They were doing that thing.
They were tooting the hoot stick?
I ran out, but
they were blazing the cabbage.
They were fucking 420ing it all the way, dude. But so they get pulled over. Not only
that's already gonna make me cry.
I know it's already. This is the one that made me like actually like visibly shake.
Yeah,
like, oh my god,
trembling.
I would.
This one.
If we were in that situation, it would have been a death sentence automatically. Like
right.
So just the fact they got arrested, the two people in the front that were driving and the passenger because they were the ones
right.
They got arrested. She was lucky enough to not be arrested, but
again. Lottery move right there.
Yeah, which is still really goddamn lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
it's only because probably the back seat scenario. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because if you're in the front seat, you're pretty much just as much responsible for everything that happens in the car.
Yeah, you're the co-pilot.
Right.
So the cops won't let you off with a warning.
Right.
But no, she was lucky enough not to get arrested. But in a weird way, they did punish her because instead of driving her somewhere close by to Oklahoma, they just left her at a gas station 5 hours away.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're fucked. It's not your car. You don't know anyone in Missouri besides your friend. So it's
you're already
who are you gonna call? Like Ghostbusters? Jesus.
Yeah, you're already like it's somewhere in the halfway point. I feel like I don't know how far it is exactly, but it's too far to turn back to Missouri to call your friend, and it's too far to
get anyone from the city to come get you.
Yeah, so exactly what happened was that she actually had to get her mother's ex-boyfriend that lived 3 hours away from that spot.
Mad awkward.
It really is like, well, shit, how's your mom?
Right.
I remember you. And just like, and no, but I'm actually surprised like the humanity and the maturity this man has because he was like, he put his little, I don't know how they ended, but
I mean, but like when you say it's an
when
X,
it's an X, I mean,
you get that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as we said it, I'm sure you got that feeling.
It's a
like,
grimace.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Like the X? Come on. They're X for a reason.
Yeah, whenever I was reading the comment on Twitter, I just had a face of just like pure grimace.
Yeah,
just like,
I was honestly expecting another horror story, but everything actually turned out fine.
No,
That was actually like...
That's actually a good ending.
Yeah, that was actually the best part of that story.
That was honestly the best case scenario.
Someone she knew came together.
You know, the best case scenario, honestly, because the worst case scenario would have been that she gets arrested too.
Right.
The kind of middle part, not the best case scenario, but not exactly the worst, would be like she had to pay for an Uber that had to drive her 5 hours back.
Jeez.
So, fucking count your blessings. That's another why I would like before I leave, let me buy a lottery ticket real quick.
Right. Exactly. At that sketchy ass gas station, just like, real quick. I want to test something out.
Exactly. And the worst part is the cop didn't even stay. The cop fucking ditched her. And like, all right, wait here.
All right,
like,
I know you're not from here, but I got a job to do.
Exactly. Good luck finding your way back home.
Yo, I would have been livid. But also too shocked to say anything.
This is exactly why any road trip I will drive.
Right. I don't trust many people behind the wheel. I don't. You never know what shit they're up to. You know what I mean? You can't force them to do anything if they're in a driver's seat.
Exactly. They're piloting the car.
Yeah.
And so same with the co-pilot.
Right? If you go down, you're going down with them. Like that's just how that works.
Exactly. So seriously, congratulations to you. That is actually that was the most impressive thing, to not be arrested along with everybody else. That's a blessing. That is a fucking blessing. And funny enough, she also at Rennie Sucks also left us an unpopular opinion. Her unpopular opinion is that she hates bacon.
Oh, what? You hate money? Hating bacon?
Hate bacon? You might as well say you hate America. Which, if that's the case, I hate bacon too.
You know what? I kind of understand this one, because I would say, as a kid, as a teen, I was not really on this whole bacon wave. I was not. I preferred pork sausage like a million times over.
Right.
I was not one for bacon. I thought it was way too salty. I thought it always turned out greasy. Thought it was disgusting. I was so over it.
The only reason why bacon is where it is now was because like the butchers weren't selling it. So they had to pay like a marketing company.
It was actually know this. It was Edward Bernays.
Yeah,
who was seen as like the father of public relations, who was able to get a lot of like doctor research to say that, you know, if you want to be healthy, you need to have a good breakfast, including protein, grains, this, that, and the other.
A little bit of fats.
And they cited bacon as, you know, one of those main sources where you can get all those nutrients and stuff. And that made bacon from like whatever shit, like dinner,
whatever
meat
discarded,
it was,
whatever
to
discarded side it was.
Staple breakfast food in America.
And not only staple breakfast food, but people have gone way overboard with it.
Oh yeah,
and
but
just think that throwing bacon on anything will automatically make it better.
Which 9 times out of 10 it does. I'm gonna defend this one. Bacon is pretty delicious when you put it with other things.
But that 1 time out of 10, it's fucking disgusting.
Oh, you're right.
Like, you remember the Burger King sundae?
No.
He had a bacon sundae. It was basically like a vanilla scoop, hot fudge, and bacon bits. It wasn't.
It's the same thing, I think, as dipping your fries in ice cream, because it's just that salty, sweet combination. But just keep it with fries, because bacon's way too greasy to mix it with milk, to mix it with frozen milk.
Exactly.
Yo, that's almost like a cheater's breakfast, because you have milk and bacon.
It's just
That
disgusting.
sugary chocolate. Yeah, it's not good.
I will say I wasn't always I'm always in a fucking like fist fight. I'm always ready to fist fight my family because they like the chewy, not undercooked bacon kinda, while I like mine oven cooked, so the grease doesn't pile up on the, and you can actually sift it and it's not as nasty and it's crispy. That's the way I like my bacon.
So you said you like yours in the oven?
Yeah. I oven bake my
oven's
bacon.
the way to go.
Yeah, if you're gonna cook bacon, oven it. And even then, don't eat it every fucking day. Like, you will die.
I will say, I am a sucker for the pan-based bacon as well. Because, I mean, if you just pat it down a little, you can get all of the excess liquid off. And it is a little bit different flavor, you know what I mean? Like, it's not super crispy. It's just right. I don't know. You just got to do it well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guess that's the biggest argument. Like, maybe you haven't had good bacon.
That's true. Or maybe you just don't like salt. And I get that one, too. Because I freaking love salt. I'll eat anything with salt. I love prosciutto. I love salmon. Like, give me sodium in like 90% daily value quantities, and I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, George actually has a Himalayan salt lamp that he just licks the base. He just licks down to the base.
Yeah, it's like down to this big now.
Yeah, he had it like that when I first saw it. Now it's down to this little nub.
I'm gonna have to get like 2 more at this rate. I get like a cheese grater, and I like grate the salt lamp.
You just go, just like, it's like a baby bottle pop. You remember those?
You know, apple cores? Like, you core, like, your salt lamp to get, like, the salty bit out of it.
It's so gross.
Alrighty, guys. That's the live stream. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to hear your questions, comments, or responses, be sure to follow the show at Tame Mayhem on Twitter and Instagram, or send it directly to us at _George Richard.
And at Mauro Romero 02. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Bye.